Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. This one comes from N0QFT. His name is Glen, and he's diagramming a horizontal dipole. He included this in an entry to the monthly giveaway. He's got a horizontal dipole here. He says he has a small yard. Will the diagrammed antenna work? The answer is eventually yes, but I think I would like something a little more symmetric. You see, this side over here, the quarter wave, is got one set of parameters, covers the whole band and so on. He's got a loading coil on this side, some wire, and a capacitance hat, which makes this side appear longer. What I would recommend is something more symmetrical. You've got your coax cable up here, you've got one side out this way and one side out this way. The way to shorten an antenna is by putting a little loading, a coil, okay, on either side, okay, and then the same length wire out to the sides, so that this total length from here to here is 1/4 electrical wavelength. Now, by adding the loading coil, you're going to physically shorten the antenna. That's putting the loading coil at this end. The other alternative is to put a capacity hat at both ends. But I would say just keep the antenna symmetric. Now you're going to have to do a lot of experimentation. Take a piece of plastic pipe and use it as a coil form. Use some household wire to do the thing. You can drill holes in it, like you can take a piece of pipe, plastic pipe, okay, and you drill a hole here and a hole here. So your wire comes in like this, comes out here, goes around this thing, okay, for some number of turns. And then when you get over to this end, it comes out this end over here, okay? And then that is a loading coil. Now you want to spread the wires apart. You don't want to have them right up next to each other because you get quite a bit of capacitance then. But, I mean, you can. The point is, if it's stable, you then tune the length to make the antenna resonant. Note that this will work on one band. So there's other alternatives here. This is an entirely homebrew solution, which is absolutely fine. I have not found any satisfactory formulas for figuring the length, width, number of turns, etc. on these coils, because the ones I've dealt with have mostly come from manufacturers and so on, and we use them. So you can get this thing so that it has a 50 ohm feed point, and stretch that thing out there, experiment, get all kinds of stuff until you get the thing working on the band you want. Again, I'm emphasizing symmetry in the antenna. If you have two different sides, they're going to behave differently in different parts of the band. A heavily loaded antenna will be resonant on a smaller portion of the band than the other half will. So clearly, as you move your operating frequency down into the lower or very upper part of the band, you're going to get a different SWR. Now, here is another solution that's kind of the extreme solution. These are ham sticks from MFJ. They aren't terribly expensive. This one right here is designed for 40 meters. Now, down at the bottom, it has a standard screw that screws into a metal base that you can get from another number of manufacturers. And then it has a stinger on it, so the whole thing is composed. It's designed to be a mobile antenna. So this part screws into the top like this, just easily. Okay. Now, I want to show you how you tune it. There's two nuts here, and both of them have little lock nuts in them right there. And this thing ships with a little hex key that fits into those. Now, what you will be adjusting is the length of the stinger. You make it longer or shorter, put it into this, and you can use another. If you want to do a dipole, you can use two of these. And see there, it's shorter than the ceiling. It's about 8 feet long. So you do two of these, and whoops, they're back to back. Okay, back to back. And so, sorry about that. I'm trying to kill my assistant here. Let's take this thing out before we bring the ceiling down on the whole house. But you put these back to back, and several manufacturers make a device, or you can make one that insulates these, okay? A little piece of plastic pipe or something, and you put your hot lead on one of these, and then the one that you've got on the other side, you put your shield to, okay? And this makes for a shortened dipole. Right in here is the actual coax. You can see how it's wound around down here. And then there's a coil right there. Now they caution you, do not put the stinger so far down that it goes into the coil, because bad things will happen. And they even have referred to melting as you put that. It changes this from an air core coil to a metal core coil, and things go weird. Okay, so they have these for every band. This one right here is for 40 meters. Now, the interesting thing to notice is that these are exactly the same size. Okay, so you can use that hub for any combination of these that you want to. If you want to work 40 meters that day, you go out and put the 40 meter one on. So there are many, many options for shortening dipoles. Now let me show you one other. We'll just use the blue. Now let's suppose this is 66 feet and it is a 40 meter dipole right here, but your yard is only 50 feet wide. You can take this thing down, attach this to something just inside the fence line, like a couple pieces of steel fence top rail, and hold these pieces. And then instead of having this piece out here, 66 to 50, that's 16 feet, so you would drop this down by 8 feet. And over here do the same. We like to do this symmetrically if we can. Do the same right here. So this is 8 feet, 8 feet, and 50 feet, which adds up to a 66 foot dipole. Now another thing you can do, if it's a 50-foot wide yard, which is pretty common, even in the big city, you can do a fan antenna. So you have 40, 20, and 10 meters. Now, one thing you can do is bring them down out to the side, or you can do like we did when we made our multi-band totally homebrew antenna, and just get pieces of plastic pipe like here, 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 and here, with holes drilled in them, so that your 20-meter element goes through all the holes and terminates, and your 10-meter element goes through the first 2 holes and terminates. Okay, and then you have a 40, 20, and 10-meter antenna, and it will work on 15 meters. That comes for free with the 40. Now, if your yard is less wide than that, if you can get this up just a little bit higher, you can actually drop much of the extra out here. And the reason that you can do that, and you'll probably notice, and you want to keep this up off the ground, but you're getting closer to half of a loop. Okay, depends on what you have as a high point in here. Now, MFJ makes an antenna that's center fed that works on 20 and 40, and there's a loading coil in here, like right here. And the way the loading coil is set up, it drastically shortens the antenna down to about 35 feet. So you can do that too. So if you look on the website for MFJ and look for shortened dipoles, backyard dipoles, things like that, you'll find quite a variety of these. You can also go to Alpha Delta's website, and the DXEE antenna, that's the model number, is only like 34 feet long. So, and it will cover a part of 40. You have to pick the part of 40 that it will cover. If you have 66 feet available and just one high point, like for example on your roof, the ARRL makes for under $100 a end-fed dipole kit that works 40 through 10. It works 40, 20, 15, and 10. Now that same balun will also feed a 125-foot wire so that you get a little bit of 80 meters too. And I've done several videos on these. So this is what I suggest for you, Glen, that you make the 2 sides symmetrical, that you hang the sides down if you don't have the room to do anything else, and that you can make a fan dipole out of that, as we showed in a recent video, and have a very nice antenna to make work. So, Glen, thank you for the question. I hope we've answered it to some degree of usefulness for you. And for those who are watching, if you found this video interesting, please subscribe, click the bell, all of that sort of stuff. If you would like to help support this channel, I've got a slide immediately following that shows various ways you can do that. So until we next meet, 73.